Welcome to Ears to the Streets. I'm your host, Mike, and this is Dante.
Hey,
and I want to welcome Jakwan Rivers to the show.
Thank you.
Local 237 member.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question about a lot of things tonight.
Sure.
You know, basically, you was running for president last year and stuff like that. How was that?
Well, actually, I was in 2009. I was running for vice president. And it was a very uphill battle when you're dealing with an incumbent that results in unethical ways of, running a union. And when they violate the laws or violate the rules and take away the vote of the members, then it's time for us to stand up and keep fighting. So that's basically what has been going.
Good evening, Mr. Rivers. Can you
Good
tell?
day, Dante. How you doing?
I'm fine. Can you tell us about All Members for Change organization and why you asked the folks that we'll meet a little later in the show to join you on this course? Absolutely.
All Members for Change is a result of rank and file members who's basically just had enough. Had enough of a union that's lacks in representation, lacks in response time, lacks in every way possible that a union is not supposed to act. Members are being mistreated. Contracts are not being negotiated in a timely manner. Members are being intimidated. Their rights are being violated constantly. So as a result of that, members decided to stand up. A lot of people thought that we was going to give up, but we decided to stand up. And as time went on, members began to realize that we have the same issues and the same problems across the city. From the city to Long Island. It did make a difference where your geographical area was, but we was faced with the same issues. With management feeling that they can violate your rights at any given time, and the union is basically non-responsive. Yes. The union seems to be what we call in bed with management and allow a lot of things and a lot of atrocities and inconsistencies to take place against the membership, and that's how it started.
How long have you been a Teamster Local 237 member? I ain't going to cut you. What division do you work, and what's your concerns or the direction of the union?
I've been a member of Local 237 approximately 20 years. And I work in the New York City Housing Authority division. And as we well know, the Housing Authority developments are have some of the highest crime rates. And when we look at the conditions of the public housing, and you look at the fact that public housing is the service is supposed to provide, who provides those services? So that's what brings us down to the working class people. There are working class people that's there to provide a service for over 600,000 different families across the city. But at the same time, these same employees, most of them live in public housing. And the problem that we face is that a large majority who works for this city can barely afford to live in it. And the conditions that we work in is deplorable, is hazardous, and no one seems to stand up for the rights of the working class. So with all of that taking place, it puts us in a very, very awkward position, and that's what basically got us to form together and unite as All Members for Change.
Okay, Mr. River, what are some of the reforms that you and All Members for Change are seeking to implement?
Well, we're seeking to bring respect back to this union and to the members. We're looking for a better quality of life for us and our families. We're looking to be respected by a city that we work for. A lot of people seem to think that the entities that basically runs the city of New York are just NYPD police officers and also teachers and things of that nature. But we are a part of the mechanism that keeps this city running on a day-to-day basis. We're the unsung heroes. Our school safety officers who protect the children of the city. They protect the next Obamas, the next de Blasios, but who's protecting them? And when you look at Long Island, our members in Long Island give a service to certain counties out there, but at the same time, these same counties have no respect for the working class people. And when we look at our hospital police and our law enforcement officers and our housing workers, and it goes on, we play a very integral role in the entire development of this city. And at the same time, we get no respect. During 9/11, everybody looked at EMS, fire department, and NYPD. But the unsung heroes that was out there that never got the recognition was mostly 237 members. And until this day, our own union leadership has not recognized the efforts we put forward and the way we put our lives on the line.
What are the most important issues at stake in the upcoming election this fall?
One of the most, you said, I'm sorry, you said?
One of the most important issues at stake in the upcoming election this fall.
Well, some of the most important issues is to rebuild this union, make it transparent to the members, let the members be involved. An educated membership creates a strong union, and that's something that we lack right now.
Yes.
The only reason why management feel that they can treat us this way is because the leadership has allowed it to happen. Because when you take the membership out of the equation, then it's only the upper echelon of the union that can deal with management. But together, as a union, involving the members, which is what makes us strong as a union.
Okay, you build a website for all members for change. Can you explain how each member can give to the website? Get off the website?
As far as donating?
Donation, and what can they get? What kind of services is the website providing?
Well, the website is built as an informational tool to enlighten members on their rights and things that the current leadership don't want you to know. When we talk about your rights, we talk about things like the wine garden rule, something that gives you the right to representation when you go before supervision and it may turn into a disciplinary action. You have a right, but management seems to violate that right so often. So we wanted to arm members with the information they need to defend themselves when they go in there. Also, we want to give members the updated information about their union. They need to know in what direction we're going. They need to know some of the accomplishments we make and some of the falls that we take. And they also need to be updated on what's going on throughout the city and city government. So we built that website as an informational piece for each member to go there and get information to help protect them, help them and their families, and give themselves a better quality of life.
And you also said you can donate too as well, right?
Absolutely. We have a donation link on there from PayPal. It goes right to All Members for Change bank account. If members want to donate, that's how members have been donating, and we encourage people to continue.
Mr. Rivers, the union leadership has continued to work hard to keep members divided against each other. How can you reunite the members and empower them and prevail against unfair labor practices?
Education is the key. You educate your members. You unite your members. That's what creates a strong union. As they say, a house divided can't stand. But when they see you standing together, you have a strong foundation. And they cannot manipulate the situation. And you're proactive rather than being reactive. That right there creates an element of strength. And then you begin the process of rebuilding this union to be the powerhouse we once were and we can be again.
Okay. Say, all right, you're running for president of Teamsters 237 in the upcoming 2014 election, correct?
Yes.
And currently a shop steward at the New York City Housing Authority. What made you take on these jobs, take on this position?
It started about when I was 15 years old. In my community, I watched so many unfair things happen in the street, in schools, where I went, camps, and I knew it wasn't right. And as I began to get older, and I started paying close attention to history, and I started watching the injustices that a lot of people was inflicted upon a lot of people. And then once I got into the work environment, it sparked something in me that I don't have to take this. So as a union member, when I first became a union member many years ago, and when I was affected by some of the unfair practices and injustices, and I knew it wasn't right. And what that did was spark a desire in me to learn more about my rights. And the more I learned about my rights, the better I could protect myself. And then I found out I could also protect those that can't have a voice for themselves. And it just spiraled, and it just spiraled, and it just built into a movement to be a voice for the working class people and the people of the community.
When you ran before, right? I'm just going to talk off the head right now.
Okay.
When you ran before, what's the difference from running then and running now?
I believe that our level of education with regards to what we've learned, the manner in which we conduct ourselves, the investigating, everything about it is different. The passion is there much harder. Although the passion was there before, but it was more emotion. This time it's focused. It's focused emotion. It's focus and determination about the change that's needed. And sometimes you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And sometimes circumstances and situations will force you into a certain reactive mode. And that's what I think is happening here. We went through the last election. We've seen some of our wrongs. We've seen some of our rights. We've seen some of our mistakes. And the issues probably didn't change. Actually, they increased. And that's why I say circumstance and situation will bring certain things out of you. So in the last election, in short, we've seen a lot of things that we had to enhance on and things that we need to be better in. And in this one, we got more commitment, more dedication, more dedication from a lot of the members, and victories in the air, and we feel it.
You said people tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly.
Time for change.
People, families are hurting, and it's time that people understand that you cannot oppress people for so long without them rising up. I call Local 237 a sleeping giant. And the city, matter of fact, not just the city, the country will see that this local union, which is the largest local union in the Teamsters organization across the nation, we can set the tone for the working class people across this nation. And I think that it's not just about winning an election, it's about making history. It's about showing that we can rise as a working class people. We can take back our destiny. We can control our destiny. But first thing we have to do is recommit ourselves to taking control of our destiny.
What about the contract negotiations? I know y'all got a lot of contract negotiations going on. Maybe you could tell the viewers a little bit more about them, too.
Well, we have a contract negotiation just as any other local union across the city. And one of the things that I noticed that a lot of unions, including our leadership, particularly our leadership, it's always just monetary. But there are non-monetary issues that need to be addressed. But because we are trapped in a society where money rules, people forget about the basic quality of life issues. When we talk about disciplinary action on the job, when we talk about transfers and reasonable accommodations, and we're talking about Family Medical Leave Act, all these different laws and rules that are in place that people just totally violate, and they dangle a little bit of money in front of it, doesn't circumvent how it affects us and our quality of lives of us and our families. Don't get me wrong, money is very important, but you also need non-monetary issues that needs to be resolved. So when it comes to these contracts, yes, we need to negotiate contracts that is conducive to the needs of our members based on the quality of work they do and the skills they provide. But at the same time, we also need to look at some non-monetary issues that need to be resolved.
So you're saying when we're doing these contracts, we shouldn't focus on the money, even though that is a need, we should focus on?
Absolutely. We should focus on not just the money. We're looking at health care. And the direction that this country is going, health care is a very important issue that some people just take for granted. Like I said, the quality of life, the way you're being treated in the workplace. And I tell people this all the time. When you go to work, it's not a concentration camp. It's a place where you work. You should not be subjected to hostile environment, disrespect, or anything of that nature. But the climate today, supervisors feel that they're not there to just supervise the daily operations. They feel they're your bosses, and they feel that they're your parents, and they can talk to you and treat you in very disrespectful manners. And we're here to say that's going to stop.
For all members for change, what type of programs you have for the members? Actually, they can go to and learn and stuff like that, as far as management and different things of that nature.
And how they can fight back against management, like you said, the unfair practices, because that's what we have the union for.
Absolutely.
Union workers is there to fight for you.
Absolutely. Well, all members for change, we have set up workshops and across the city where we bring members to meetings, we educate members, we give out pamphlets and giving members information on how to file a proper grievance, when is it time, when something is unsafe, when it's time to basically report a certain situation. Also, we have also kicked off what we call a tour, a town hall tour, where we're going to each borough and we're talking to members and we're educating members on things that the union should have been doing, the union leadership, the current leadership should have been doing. That's what we're doing.
Right. Well, you just answered my question, because that is one problem that union members have. After a hard day of work, when you have a union meeting, some people can't make it downtown to get this information, especially the new people that come in. So it would be good just to go around and, like you said, talk to them. You know, come to them.
Right. Last year when you was running, I know we was following it a lot, and I felt like, you know, that we got a bad shake with it, you know. Coming this year, I seen basically you guys are actually working more harder than you ever did before. I was on the website, I seen the video. What makes you going to take this to a whole different level, and what inspired you to even start this, really? Like, deep down inside, I know you've been doing a lot of other things. You've been activists, you've been shop stewardess and everything. What made you actually, deep down inside, want to run for the presidency?
Well, we never stopped wanting to take our union back. We never stopped. Since the last election, the very next day, when everybody else went back to business as usual, those of us hit the ground running. And we started planning the very next day. We never completely broke apart, but everybody had to go and do their own research and homework. And when we came back together, the passion was there, the fire was lit, and we was ready to go. What made me decide to run for president, because at the time, the beautiful lady that I ran with in the last election, you'll get a chance to meet later on this segment,
He's gonna talk about
who was running for president. At the time, after running a few times, you kind of, you know, you get a little tired. And, you know, so she was ready to reach retirement. And I said, I told her, I said, we cannot let this go unchallenged. I said, if we can, it'll be just a walk right back in, and we cannot. We have to take our union back. We've seen the decline of our membership. We've seen the level of disrespect that's gotten worse over the years. We've seen the lack of contracts and the total disrespect across the city by not only the city officials, but our own union officials. And a lot of people don't realize, a lot of us started this as a job, and it turned into a career. Right. And when we look at, after you look at 15 to 20 years, where you're going. So we must preserve and save what we got. Because our current leadership tells people, be lucky you have a job. I'm not lucky I have a job, I earned it. And so is how soon they forget. So, you know, the fire's in there, and everybody's focused because we see what we can do when we come together, and we're determined to take back our union and create a better quality of life for us and those that come after us.
Let's touch on the divisions. You opened up a law enforcement division?
Yes, Teamsters Local 237 has various divisions, but we have approximately 8,000 law enforcement members across the city, ranging from hospital police, taxi and limousine commission, school safety officers, and DHS officers, CUNY officers, and an array of other officers. And one thing we didn't have is a law enforcement division. You cannot properly represent a division of law enforcement officers without a law enforcement division designed to protect and preserve the rights of law enforcement officers. You just can't do it. And for so long, this is why our officers has been mistreated, misrepresented, and treated as plain guards. And we got a little saying amongst us where our officers are guards when you don't need them. But when you want to discipline them, they're officers. Right. You can't cut the apple down the middle. It is what it is. If they put their lives on the line every day across this city, they deserve to have proper representation. So what we decided to do is dedicate a division solely for our law enforcement officers. So when they walk into these agencies, they're not represented as civilians. They're represented as respected law enforcement officers who have the power to arrest. Not to mention, they don't carry weapons.
Oh, yeah, I was going to speak on that.
Yeah. They don't carry weapons, but we have officers that actually execute warrants at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if that's not considered an officer, then we're living in a world that's living in a world of illusions. So we decided to create this law enforcement division to give the law enforcement membership the respect, everything that they need in order to execute their job in a productive way.
I know the law enforcement agency, they have rights all the time, and I think they're violated a lot. Can you actually elaborate on the wine guard rights when they actually have to go to labor issues and stuff like that?
Yes. When management or supervision says, I would like to talk to you in my office, and if it's job related, yes, you go in because you're the subordinate. When they start questioning you in a manner that can lead into possible disciplinary action, at that moment you can refrain and say, I want my union representation. It's almost, and right there, the conversation is supposed to cease. Actually, it's supposed to cease. There's nothing else to it. It's supposed to cease right at that point until you get union representation. But what happened more so is that the management begin to talk to you like they're your friend. Well, listen, no, we just want to ask you a question. And then you answer the question thinking they're your friend. And they use that same answer against you for disciplinary reasons. And you gave this information voluntarily. So that's why it's very important for people to understand that you have a right to representation. They call it the Weingarten Rule because this law is set into place by Ms. Weingarten. I don't know if you know her name. She used to be head of the teachers years ago. It was a case that she had brought before the Supreme Court and won that case. And based on the way that she brought the case out, they created the Weingarten Rule. But it's a very effective rule. It protects the members' right when they in the office talking to management, and also sometimes management also has their other supervision there, and that's their witness. So that's what the Weingarten Rule is.
All right, I was looking over your stuff, and I see one of the benefits that you want to give to the members is you want to start a new scholarship fund for members and their dependents. Absolutely,
absolutely. Being part of Teamsters, the organization, there's only one a scholarship fund, and that's the Jimmy Hoffa's Scholarship Fund. But that's for 1.3 million members across the nation. We feel here in New York City, like I said, our members work in one of the most expensive, or the expensive city in our nation. And it's very hard on the salaries that we're making to afford to give our children the productive and quality education that they need because of the financial restraints. And with that being in our minds, we said, listen, we have to come up with a conducive way to help our members help their children and help themselves, because we also have members that want to further their education and they don't have it. When most unions across this city are providing this service to their members, we have 23,000 members. There's no reason in God's green earth that we cannot and should not be having this same program afforded to our members. So yes, we're looking to put together a new scholarship fund for our members and their dependents, and to give some of our members some help with furthering their education and helping their children further their education.
I see you trying to bring back the Shop Steward convention.
Yes, I think that was very effective. For 4 days, we actually went to training classes, and it taught shop stewards the basic fundamentals of unionism. That's what's lost. A lot of people don't understand the labor movement. A lot of people don't even know that there was a labor movement before the civil rights movement. And through the labor movement, the civil rights movement was born. So these shop steward conventions are very important. It teaches them the basic fundamentals of how to represent a member, how to investigate situations, what to look for, what to report, how to document, everything that someone needs in order to help protect someone's rights. And I think they're very effective. And more importantly, it gives other shop stewards from across the city to start meeting each other. When you realize that you have a common situation, and sometimes each one teach one, well, how did you handle it? Well, this is how I handle it. And then you just keep showing them, and they show you. And so I think these conventions are very important to the growth and development of this union.
I also want to touch on, you said negotiate fair and timely contracts that every member and their family can depend on. It's very important, like how Bloomberg has done the members in the past, and now they negotiate. And can you elaborate more on how important the members need to know to come out and stand up and tell them we can't wait till next year for our money, we need it now?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
It's the landlord's birthday.
Absolutely. One of the things that I have to concur with New York City PBA, if you look at the latest rounds of negotiations, where he stated that that contract was very good for his members. I echo those same words. Every contract is not good for everybody. And I feel that a strong union, a good union, a committed union, negotiates their own contract, their own contracts. I think that you have to find out what's the needs of your members.
Yes.
And that's how you sit down with city officials or city government and say, well, my members need X, Y, and Z in order to survive in this city. You know, it's hard to tell somebody who's making what most of my average members make, about $38,000 a year. It's hard to tell them that you're going to give them a 1% raise. 1% raise on $38,000 is only $380. You break that down. You break that down over 12 months. That's not even a thing of milk or eggs every time you get paid. So, you know, it's a difference. And I think that every union needs to take responsibility for their own contract and negotiation. I know that there's pattern bargainings. I know that that's there. But still in all, you still have the right to go in there and try to negotiate the best contract you can for your members based on your members' needs and desires and wants.
Jakwan, we're going to wrap up. And we're actually going to come back next week also.
I look forward to it.
We're going to bring all your members back with you, and we're going to talk about other topics and stuff like that also. And I just want to thank you for coming to the show. And it's going to be a 3-part series on all members of change.
Yes.
So stay tuned for the next 3 weeks. Me, Dante, Jakwan Rivers, and all members of change will be back in the building next week. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.
We don't give up, we stand up.